Hi guys, welcome to my Game Week 32-33 video. My wildcard is active. Oh yeah baby, it is. But before we check out my wildcard picks, take a look at my points for Game Week 32. And you'll notice something a little bit different in this video. My friends at Fantasy Football Manager FFM app have allowed me to use their graphics in my videos, so a big thank you to them. I'm not affiliated or associated with them in any way. They've just allowed me to put their graphics in my video. So without further ado, let's check out my Game Week 32 points and have a look at what I plan to do for Game Week 33. Okay, as you can see to the side of my screen, on Game Week 32 I got myself a total of 69 points. The average being 56. So it's not all bad. Just in comparison, I wanted to let you guys know that I used my wildcard in my personal team last game week. Mainly because I was just falling behind in points to my mini league leader and the gap was getting bigger and bigger, and if I didn't jump when I did, I wouldn't have been able to afford the kind of players that I wanted. Some of those names include Ibra and Lukaku up front, Hazard, Ali and Sanchez in midfield, and Valencia and Davies and Heaton in defence. So that's very different to the team you see here. My personal team bagged me 86 points and thankfully pulled me a bit of ground back on my league leader. But back to my community YouTube channel team. As you can see, there's not a whole lot of difference I could have had between my two keepers. Heaton just getting me one more point than Valdez. Macaulay could have got me one more point than Baines. At this point you'll notice a trend happening in my videos. Since Coleman has left because of injury, Baines is struggling badly to keep the clean sheet points. And some other players with attacking form like Jagielka are picking up the FPL points. So, that coupled with some price rises and how well I did by using my wildcard in my personal team last game week, I've decided to pull the trigger this game week. Before I talk a little more about that, let me just explain to you why I've done that. Baines being one that I've already explained, but for now 2 to 3 weeks running, Pedro, Sigurdsson and Sané have brought me no return, and I am desperate need of change in midfield. Davies has been a little gem. Unfortunately, looking at my wildcard options, I'm not sure I'll be able to keep him in my team. But if you guys just want somebody as a differential and you're not too worried about the double game weeks, I would suggest getting him in. A lot of people have been surprised by seeing him in my team, but often week after week, he's a little surprise on my bench, or sometimes as an option to play, often bagging me a few more points than anyone would ever expect. Llorente coming on with just 1 point didn't help. If he'd stayed off, then I would have got Davies points. Again, I stuck with Aguero, gave him the armband. He didn't exactly let me down, but if I'd been braver after Lukaku blanking for 2 game weeks in a row and put the captaincy on him, I definitely would be looking at a lot more points now. Still, I'm not complaining too much, and yet I've decided to use my wildcard a little earlier to get in a few key players, so we'll take a look at that team now. So far, this is my wildcard team. Feel free to hit me up on Twitter or leave me a comment below on what you think or any suggestions. This is a community team. It's led by you guys on YouTube and Twitter, and so I always love to hear what you guys think. This isn't a ranking team. Remember, I started 6 weeks in, so the only thing we're playing for is pride and good game week points week after week, as best we can do. So I've decided to keep Valdez for another couple of weeks because he has a double game week in 34. And you know what, he hasn't been too inconsistent for me. And I've also decided to downgrade and get Pickford in. This is a bandwagon jump. Pickford will have a double game week, probably in 37 when the fixtures are released. And he does have a fairly good run of games. Although, judging by his form in 32, I'm a little bit worried about this pick now. I could go to Jakupovic. Let me know what you guys think on that one. Bearing in mind my problems with Baines, as you've seen, I've decided to take a punt on Jagielka. Everton have been shocking in defence since Coleman has gone. Jagielka is getting those attacking points. And at his cheap price, I can see a few other people jumping on the bandwagon, and so I think his price might rise a little too. That's my thinking by putting him in the wildcard. With Davies, even though I'm almost sure Rose will be back soon, this is a risky strategy. However, there are a few double game week players around the same sort of price as Davies that I could get in for the game week 37, should that be when all of the double game weeks happen. Then I've decided to get Ward. He's not a double game week player, and at the moment he's just a good price at 4.5 for a defender that, looking at my personal team, there I have Lowton and he's done well. So that was my thinking about Ward. Then I've got Bernardo for Middlesbrough. Again, this is a bit of a risk. I'm not entirely sure how much game time he'll have, but I'm willing to take a risk on doubling up for both those weeks. And then I have Stevens for Southampton. I think this is an even bigger risk, and Stevens is cheaper than Yoshida, so it's not like I can even swap back to Yoshida. However, so far he's been doing really well, and I'm hoping, just hoping, that they'll keep him in alongside Yoshida just because of how well they've been doing with the injuries they've had. Okay, so before last night's game, I was a lot happier about this midfield than I am right now. Hazard, no-brainer. I can't afford Sanchez with a front three like I have there. So Hazard is my next best option, and he has a double game week. Plus his price is going to rise between now and the end of the season. King, not a double game week player, but at his price, he can't be ignored. He's made my team of the month several times now. Go on, Kingy. And I just have to have him in there. Sorry, guys. Maybe he can be transferred out to a double game week player if he drops off form. Now for the other two, Eriksen and Walcott. My thoughts behind Walcott was that in the previous game week he scored a goal, he was looking really attacking and a really good wildcard option. He's got 2 double game weeks coming up, and I was hoping that against Crystal Palace last night he'd prove my thoughts for getting him in a good worth. However, now I'm not so sure. So if you guys have any suggestions on that, I'd be very grateful. And Eriksen, I've been scratching my head on whether to make it Eriksen or Son. Many different views on whether Son will now get game time that Kane is back. However, if he doesn't, I think Eriksen is a slightly better option considering I can't afford Ali in this lineup. Eriksen seems to do better with Kane there when he has somebody to pass the ball forward to so that they can then go on to score or one-to-one with. So I'm kind of hoping he's a bit of a differential, but he's still up there. For that price, if I keep Walcott, then, you know, I'm thinking also with Eriksen's price that he can be swapped for somebody of a similar price. And then we come to my front three, and this is where I'm hoping I will gain most of my points. Slightly bonkers, I have to admit, and there are a lot of us on Twitter trying to create the same sort of front three. At one point, my team was even less than what it is now in midfield and defence, just so that I could have Aguero where Lukaku is now sitting. You guys know how much I am in love with Aguero, and I really did not want to sell an in-form striker like Aguero. But I saved judgment and I listened to you guys. His price compared to that of Kane's or Lukaku's, I just couldn't justify keeping him in going forward. I just couldn't do it. I can't say that I won't try and get him back in before the double, but to keep him going forward right now, I just couldn't do. And so I kept Lukaku, and I'm just kind of hoping that even though he's a single game week player, that he can score me double points. I know this will split a lot of people, but that is my hope. And then Kane and Ibra speak for themselves. Ibra obviously has his double game week coming up, and Kane is Kane. You guys know, if you've been following my videos by now, how much I have suffered without having Kane in my team at the beginning of the season before he got injured. And so I had to try my best to get him back in this time round. I hope he repays my need to have him back in my team. His fixtures and his double game week look very nice, so hopefully he'll give me big returns. But that is my wildcard setup. My wildcard is active now. It'll be active now until game week 33. So please do get in touch, help me out. This is what the FPL community is all about. Let me know what you think. Put me a comment below. Send me messages on Twitter. And I just realised I didn't say anything about Albrighton. Maybe that's because I want to keep him a bit of a secret. Basically, check him out and you'll know why he's there. But also, he has a double game week, so yeah, just check him out. You'll see why he's in the team, apart from his price, obviously. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and the new little setup with the Fantasy Football Manager app. Don't forget to like, subscribe and do all those fabulous things. Until next time, Nympria out.